the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum's Mark XM213. Ladies and gentlemen, feel very privileged, feel humbled, but above all, feel proud. Please give thanks, lest we forget.
Yeah, let's go to Barry.
As for two Spitfires, we have two Spitfires today. I'll know a little bit later when they come back. Definitely the one that's nearest to the land is in fact T311. That is a low-back Spitfire with a bubble canopy. And I think the other aircraft is possibly AB910. But look ahead over the bay, ladies and gentlemen. There you've got, I'm almost emotional on this, but you've got 8 Merlin engines in this formation. 10 Merlin engines in all. Look ahead of you, ladies and gentlemen. From Mount Hope, Ontario, Vera, the Canadian Warplane Heritage Lancaster, following the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight Lancaster. The Battle of Britain aircraft marks the markings of 617 Squadron Thumper, and the Lancaster Mark 10, built at Bolton, Ontario, and flown today by Don Schofield of the Canadian Warplane Heritage. As they come past you, ladies and gentlemen, let's shut up and just listen to the sound of the Lancasters. I'm joined here today in the commentary point, as well as Rex, who flew them during World War II. I'm joined by Wing Commander Paul Moss, former CEO of 8 Squadron Royal Air Force. And Paul, you were flying the Lancaster, you lucky boy.
Yes, I've flew the Lancaster as one of the display pilots on the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight for 5 seasons. That's 5 years touring around the UK and Europe displaying this magnificent old aeroplane. I think it's worth bearing in mind for everybody here today, this will never be seen again. This is your one opportunity, or indeed pretty much anybody's opportunity, to see 2 Lancasters in the sky together. As you've already said, they are the last remaining examples of flying Lancasters. To see them together, bearing in mind one has had to make the perilous journey some 3,000 miles all the way from Canada to be here today. It's absolutely remarkable and a one-off opportunity. So we're all extremely privileged to see this today.
Yes, Paul, it's absolutely wonderful. For me, my father was one of those Canadians who flew in Bomber Command. He flew in Halifax. Look ahead of you, ladies and gentlemen. Leading the flight, T311, a low-back Spitfire with clipped wings, followed by AB910, which is the Mark 5 of the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. AB910 actually conducted operations over the D-Day beaches. And one of the early members of the flight, T311, the second Spitfire behind at the moment. This is the aircraft, sorry, the Spitfire ahead, shall I say, clip wing. This is an aircraft that was actually found in bits in a shed in St Athan. And in fact, it was the guys on the Battle of Britain flight that said, we'll do this in our own time. And they restored this aeroplane, and eventually, through their enthusiasm, the RAF took over and said, yes, okay, we'll have another Spitfire. So you're privileged. It's the first time, I think, we've had a low Spitfire in Irish skies for a very long time. The low back was designed to improve on the visual performance of the Spitfire, and the clip wings gave the aircraft a better performance at low level, where later in the war they were often used as ground attack aircraft.
You're absolutely right about the contribution that the ground crew make, of course, which are critical to the Battle of Britain flight, putting that Spitfire together. And indeed, the spirit and the contribution of the ground crew continues today and is seen in the collaboration between the Battle of Britain ground crew and those of the Canadian Lancaster. The Canadian Lancaster almost didn't make it. She had an engine failure and was stranded in the north of England at an airport which she needed an engine change. The BBMF ground crew took up a BBMF engine and helped the Canadian ground crews to refit an engine. So you're seeing a Canadian Lancaster fly today, and one of the engines on board is actually a BBMF engine. Keep the crowd warm while the main event holds crowd rear, and she'll be back with you.
We'll wait 2 days for Lancasters to turn around again. You're ready to come again?
I've just had a look at a quick shot of the old Spitfire. In fact, I'm now almost confirmed it is not 8910, it is P7350, which is the oldest Spitfire flying. It is a genuine Battle of Britain veteran. That second airplane in the queue there, ladies and gentlemen, that actually fought in the Battle of Britain and actually had a battle damage. Until recently, I think you've repaired it out now, haven't you, Dave?
You can still see the battle damage on the aircraft. Actually, they've been sensible enough to leave the repair. Although, of course, it's entirely airworthy and completely safe. You can still see evidence of the battle damage from the Battle of Britain.
Right, the movement of Fighter Command in their Spitfires and Hurricanes. This display today, ladies and gentlemen, is not just for the men of Bomber Command, like Rex here. Rex, you actually went in the Canadian Lang, how about that? But look to your right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our salute to the men of Bomber Command, the men of Fighter Command, the men of Coastal Command, Training Command, the millions of people who fought with the Royal Air Force and the Commonwealth Air Forces. Here we have the Commonwealth Air Forces represented by the Lancaster. The Canadian Lancaster is powered by Packard Merlin engines. The British one has Rolls-Royce engines. So actually, there's very different sounds from them, but you'd have to be a bit experienced to notice that. And you'll see that the Canadian one actually has a low turret. It has a Glen Martin turret. The Mark 1X was actually built was over Germany on a raid to Cambrai, and the aircraft was badly hit. It was on fire. And he saw that his friend John Brophy in the rear turret was actually unable to get out of his turret, so he fought his way through the flames to get to the turret, but he couldn't get there. The doors were jammed. He had to leave his friend. As he walked back to the door, he saluted and bailed out on BRA of 419 Squadron. Amazingly, when the Lancaster eventually crashed, Brophy's turret bounced out of the wreckage and he actually survived, but he was captured by the Germans. And it was only at the end of the war, when he was repatriated, he was able to tell the bravery of Andrew Mynarski, and Mynarski was awarded a Victoria Cross. It's Mynarski's bravery and the other brave men of Bomber Command, those who didn't get awards. People like my father, in the only Halifax out of 748 on the raid over Saint-Lô-de-Bron on the 5th of August 1944, was blown out of the sky as the starboard wing came off. I never met him, I was born a week later. But to me, he's my hero, just as all the other brave men of Bomber Command and the other commanders of the Royal Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, our salute, lest we forget the Lancasters. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is our tribute not just to the men of Bomber Command, as I said earlier, to the general, to the men of Fighter Command, Training Command. Training Command was widely in operation here in Northern Ireland, and many bomber and fighter aircrew were lost on the hills of Wales and the hills of Northern Ireland during their training. Now, as the aircraft circle round, we're just keeping an eye for the chinks, as the BBMF call them, the little airplanes, as we see T311 and P7350. Now, I'm just going to keep quiet, ladies and gentlemen, let you listen to these wonderful, wonderful 6 engines in formation on probably their last pass together as the Lancasters come together. Ladies and gentlemen, the Avro Lancaster. So, we probably will have one more pass as these aircraft. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this moment. It is a moment in Irish aviation history, ladies and gentlemen. You'll see 2 Lancasters and 2 Spitfires. What a great tribute to the brave men of the Royal Air Force, the Commonwealth Air Forces, the New Zealanders, the Canadians, the Australians, even the Dutch. They were designed by geniuses. They were built by craftsmen. And ladies and gentlemen, they were surely flown by heroes. Your applause, ladies and gentlemen, your applause for the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight and Canadian Warfighter Heritage. This has been a privilege for me here today to stand next to Rex, the best of the World War II, Portrush, who actually flew the Lancaster.